We want the feds to come in here. We need that in our police department.
Hi friends, Joseph William Green, and that was Sergeant Mike Simard of the Lawrence Police Department addressing the Lawrence City Council. That was probably the most powerful statement that made the most impact on the evening, and his comments, well, I don't see how it could have been said any better. I have no criticisms, and to save you the trouble of searching on the Lawrence City Council YouTube channel, which is where I got this video, you can just listen to his full 10-minute address to the City Council right here. Enjoy it. Couldn't have been said better. Good job,
Good
Mike.
evening, Council. My name is Sergeant Mike Simard. I'm the Union President of the Superior Officers. Thank you for having us tonight and inviting us here.
Can you, Sergeant Simard, go over, I mean, obviously we have it here and we've read it, but your interview process, your experience when being interviewed by the Merrick agency, and then we did already talk about the Bennett report a little bit prior meeting, but if you can summarize your experience with that as well, just to make the overall connection.
Sure, and I'd like to thank Mr. Bennett for being in and apologize from our union for having his integrity being brought to question by this administration. You can compare what I feel was a valid investigation and then the subsequent cover-up. And it's obvious and it's disheartening to the men and women of our department who keep getting dragged through the mud. William Castro was an unqualified correctional officer who dreamed of being a police officer, and that dream was fulfilled by this mayor for whatever reason. He became a police chief. After becoming the police chief of staff, he became a police chief. Never have attended a full-time academy. His lack of qualification showed on that February day when he got into a police chase for a bad check, and then lied in his report, and then exposed the public to all these safety risks in these officers who actually followed him into battle that day for no reason whatsoever. The city then covered that up after he lied in his report. The city then covered it up, in my opinion, when they said, nothing to see here, I did an investigation, nothing to see here, go back to work, officers. If that was me, I would have been fired on the spot, no doubt in my mind. It was reported to Post about the cover-up and the violation of policies and the subsequent lies in the report and the hiring process, the two-tier internal affairs systems. So Post says to the city of Lawrence, you need to investigate this. So Mike Bennett, another person I want to apologize to, whose integrity was called into question by this administration, who everyone in the city adores because he was the right person for the job, he hires Bennett, Mr. Bennett, of CIC, with an unblemished background, as we heard. He does a thorough investigation of 18 people, including 17 officers. And he records every interview. I might add that Mr. Castro's 6-hour interview was not recorded at his request. Why? Why? Mine was. I had no say in it. Mine was. Lieutenant Razzo's was. Everyone's audio interview was recorded. Mr. Bennett finishes the report. Now, I might add that during this chase and soon after, within 2 weeks of that investigation, of that cover-up, William Castro tasked our video analysis unit manager, Angel Mejia, with the biggest download of video evidence that this department has ever seen during 2 homicides. William Castro's sole intent was to follow me and Mo Aguilar, Captain Aguilar, around the station for 2 weeks, and he wanted that to help his cause. During 2 homicide investigations, he's tasking Angel Mejia, who has more important things to do, obviously, with following me and Captain Aguilar around the station. Did Roy Vass get that same sort of allowances when allegations were made against him? Chief Roy Vass did more for this police department than any police chief I ever worked for in 29 years. And because Chief Castro wanted to be a chief, a hit was put on him, along with many other officers. And it continues today, where I heard another retaliation investigation is going to come up on one of our officers again. Investigation was ensued by Mr. Bennett, a very thorough one, I might add. And keep in mind, I've never been the subject of an internal affairs investigation. I went because I had to. I was ordered to. It's part of internal affairs investigations. Castro felt he didn't have to because he's getting $210,000 as a provisional chief. He can do whatever he wants. And he's done whatever he wanted to, for some reason. So Mr. Bennett does the investigation. He can't finish it, according to some councils, according to the mayor, but he did finish it. Because like he said before, whether the respondent or the suspect cooperates, that's fine. But if he doesn't, he's going to go with what the evidence presents. And it did. It presented itself, as you can see. Harvard educated, first assistant district attorney, director of public safety, 30 homicides. And our city travels to New Hampshire to hire Maverick Investigations. Did anybody do a background check on Maverick Investigations? I did. And I suggest you do the same. They call him because the cover-up, what they got from Bennett was not what they wanted. Because Castro was their guy, for whatever reason. Some here may know the reason, but there's leverage there for something. Why, I don't know. But this city suffers to this day. This council suffers to this day. This administration does whatever they want, and they use you to rubber stamp it. Be careful, because this happened in Methuen when I was there, and we're still paying for it. Trust me when I tell you, everyone blamed the council. Everyone. So Mr. Bennett does his investigation. It's complete. They don't like it. They halt it. They stop it. Whatever word you want to use, they stopped it in its tracks. And Octavian Spanner did it. Why did he do it? Well, it's twofold. To protect Castro and to protect himself. And we all know why. How about the recent allegations that came out by Francisco Paulino? I'm just want to get into why we're being tainted, we're being persecuted for the rise of William Castro. All we want is a qualified police chief. So then they hire what I call hitmen out of Salem, New Hampshire to come in and give them what they need to fool you. He can be a chief. They're lying. They don't want anybody from outside. They want someone from the inside. We want someone who's qualified. We're one of the busiest departments in the Commonwealth. We want someone who's qualified, who's been to a full-time police academy. That's it. Someone who rose through the ranks, took the test, knows how to work civil service, knows how to follow you, knows how to work with the community. Not someone who's politically connected to the point where, how many mayors has he backed? Haverhill mayor, Methuen mayor, now the Lawrence mayor. It worked. He picked the right horse, didn't he? And here he is today. And who gets a contract for a year as a provisional chief? Who does that, where he goes from the chief of staff to the chief of police back to the chief of staff? Everybody watching this meeting right now in this Commonwealth is saying, what the heck is going on in Lawrence? What is going on here? It's embarrassing that I have to stand up here and you have to stand up here and you have to question Mr. Bennett about his integrity. Because that's why he's here. I don't get it. So the city didn't like what he had to say. So they hired Maverick, and Maverick comes in.
Right.
And I interviewed him. And when he interviewed me, I recorded it too. One of my questions was, have you ever worked for EIS Investigations? That's the former chief of Methuen who's currently under indictment. They signed a contract with them last month. There's a lot of, and Castro has political ties to the former chief. And that's where his credentials are out of. That's where he maintains his credentials to be a special police officer out of Methuen. There's a lot of, red flags here. And unfortunately, the mechanism for those red flags are being right here. And you have a city attorney, and I feel bad. I really do. He's put on the hot seat every time. He's trying to figure out who he's got to protect. But I think we all know we got to protect the citizens of Lawrence. And I don't think that's happening. And it's frustrating. And here we are today. So all I know is I had my interview recorded, 6-hour interview with 205 pages. That was just billable hours for the Maverick investigator. That's all that was. That was predetermined, and we said it. The guy was chewing tobacco in a cup, spitting in a cup. I'll buy you a beer when I see you at Tuscan. That's what he says to me. And we have a Harvard-educated director of public safety here before you who's, I hope, getting paid, because his time is very valuable. It's just frustrating, and again, we're gonna get dragged through it. So I hope I answered your question, Counselor, but when does this end? When is someone held accountable? When are we gonna have oversight? We want the feds to come in here. We need that in our police department, our trust has just been destroyed in public by this man continuously. When does it end? Because quite frankly, I'm ready to retire. But I don't want to leave the men and women of this department that I put 29 years of my heart and soul into this city. For what? For a guy to play cops and robbers and get into a bank chase? Give me a break. That's what this is about. And it's frustrating.